Hey guys, how's it going? I got the anime silk shirt going on. I got the pink fleece going on. I am in full anime mode, my guys. But why is that? Well, we're going to be taking a look at My Hero Academia today. Now, what is My Hero Academia? It's one of the hottest shonen shows to come out in recent memory. For those of you who watched Bleach or Naruto throughout the mid-2000s, you're going to be right at home with Academia. It definitely carries the torch that those shows created. And in my opinion, it's better than either show. For me, Academia just has better, more likable, and more developed characters. And I like how the battles are won not through, leveling up to getting, new powers just because the writer wrote himself into a corner, but they're won by using teamwork and smarts. It's a show where you appreciate the characters for trying rather than succeeding. As with most, if not all, shonen shows, video games were inevitable, always published by Bandai Namco of all people. This time we have My Hero Academia, Once Justice for the Nintendo Switch. This is the second My Hero Academia game, as far as I know. There was one for the 3DS that never left Japan, but this is going to be the first one to come out in other territories like North America and Europe. So, how is it? Well, let's join UA and take a look. This game is called My Heroes One Justice in the States and One Justice in Japan, so sorry for any confusion. If a game could get a good score for presentation alone, Academia would be getting an easy 10 out of 10. The color palette is nice and bright, it's looking darn near identical to the show. The characters themselves look straight out the anime as well. The more battles progress, the more the stages get destroyed. When you have superpowered whack jobs trying to kill each other, something is gonna get broken. I also like the little sound effects that pop in gameplay. It's the little touches like that that make a game stand out. The music isn't too bad, nothing super memorable, but there are some decent tunes here. And I believe all the Japanese voice actors from the show reprise their roles for the game, but I'm not too sure on that one. I watch my anime dubbed, and by saying that, I probably got a few downvotes. The characters do sound good for what it's worth. Once Justice has a total of 20 characters right out the box with one unlockable character and 2 DLC characters. Most of the characters come from Class 1A, naturally. The main characters of Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, and All Might take front and center here. Uraraka, Tenya, and Kirishima are there for support. Some fan favorites made it into playable status such as Tsuyu, Aizawa, and Fumikage, and of course, the bad guys are here in full force. Dabi, Toga, Muscular, which might be the laziest name for a villain ever. It'd be like naming Chun-Li, Legs, or Power Girl. Boobs, Shiragaki, Stain, and All For One are also here to do battle with the heroes. Stain is like what would happen if Donatello knocked up April O'Neil from the Ninja Turtles. Shoutouts to DeviantArt. But someone remind me, why is Endeavor of all characters a DLC character? Nobody likes him. His parroting is like he's a Pokemon speedrunner who has to reset every game because his Squirtle doesn't have the good stats. There had to be some creative liberties to make the characters work in gameplay. That said, each character's powers and personalities shine brilliantly in gameplay. Uraraka can launch her opponents off the ground with her gravity abilities. Fumikage can summon his Shadow Quirk much like Zato 1. Kaminari can control points of the stage using his electric abilities. Toga can copy her opponents a la Shang Tsung. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Personally, my favorite characters are Todoroki, as he's a fairly balanced character and easy to use, and Stain, as it's just nice having a character that can stab people, you know? Aizawa is also really cool. He can temporarily nullify quirks, and his super move is really... The hell you doing, Aizawa? Who do you think you are, Brett Kavanaugh? Okay, that's enough of that. So let's talk about the gameplay and netcode. I mean, that seems like a good thing to do, doesn't it? My Hero One's Justice is an arena fighter in the style of the Naruto Ninja Storm games, fitting as this title is made by the same folks. It isn't quite a 3D fighter like Tekken or Soul Calibur, as the characters aren't always facing their opponents, and there's a greater emphasis on air movements in this game. Once Justice has a lot of the systems you would see in a game like Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom. There's a guard gauge, a super meter that goes up to 3 levels, and 2 assists that have really long cooldowns, but can be summoned while being hit, kinda like a burst. Similar to Arcana Hearts or Dragon Ball FighterZ, there is a button devoted to dashing towards the opponent. Be careful though, as it is easy to dash right into your opponent's attacks without having any way to cancel into a guard or a jump. One's Justice isn't about doing long combos, but it is about controlling space and constantly limiting your opponent's options so you can land huge damage on them. Personally, I didn't like the fighting at first. Attacking feels delayed due to the huge startup that most attacks have. But after playing for a bit and finding characters that I enjoy playing as, I had a lot more fun with the fighting. The biggest problem for me is getting a knockdown or getting knocked down. It takes a bit longer than you expect to get up, and it really kills the momentum. Another thing is that assists just take way too long to charge. Yeah, you can use them whenever, but they just feel a bit, underused due to their cooldown time. Maybe I'm just too used to games like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Dragon Ball FighterZ where assists are crucial to gameplay, but I just feel assists could have been used a bit better here. Another complaint for me is that supers, at least the level 2s, can take way too long. Dobby's is probably the worst. His chapped ass's super is darn near 20 seconds long. Despite my complaints, One's Justice is meant to be a pick-up and play title, but for those who want something a bit deeper, there is some depth here. Online mode is as basic as my friend Steven, who only orders plain sandwiches from Subway. Seriously, that fool only orders sandwiches with salami, ham, and nothing else. No cheese, no sauce, no veggies, not even salt and pepper. Just a foot long of carbs and processed meat. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. There's ranked match, free match, and lobbies. If you just want a quick match, free and ranked are the way to go. Lobbies though are a huge letdown. It's only for 2 people and there's no spectator mode. As for the netcode itself, all of my matches have been playable. Nothing horribly laggy, but the game does slow down a lot. For the heck of it, let's check the top players on ranked. Why, let's see this guy. This dude has over 400 hours logged in. Now that's devotion. Now's a good time as ever to mention the technical issues this game has. I think the base frames per second is supposed to be 30, but during gameplay there are a lot of frame drops. During supers or when more than one assist is called at a time, that's when it drops the most. Nothing to the point of being unbearable, but it makes you just wish Namco could have spent a little more time polishing the title. Wanna know why Chibi Uraraka is crying? Because there is a lot of loading in this game. It gives you enough time to play the Neo Geo Pocket Color in between games, at least. Before you go into this game, you gotta know this is not going to be a super hardcore competitive fighter like Dragon Ball FighterZ or Street Fighter V. This is meant to be a button mashing good time. And on that front, it does succeed. Though there are some issues here, but I cannot deny there is actual depth to One's Justice. As for the netcode itself, when I did get a match, it was playable, but it wasn't optimal. Add to that the lack of modes, like no true lobbies and no spectator mode. It's a huge letdown and very disappointing on that front. But what about the rest of the game? How does that hold up? The 2 big modes of One's Justice are the story mode and the mission mode. Story mode is the bigger draw. It follows the story from around the end of Season 2 until the end of Season 3. You play the various UA heroes, fighting villains, and going through a loose adaptation of the show. It's not a total one-to-one adaptation of the source material. Some stuff is going to be lost in conversion, but for the most part, you'll get the story. Cutscenes are told through voiceovers and comic-style cut-ins. Not as big budget as one would like, but for the style of Academia, it fits perfectly, though there are some animated cutscenes here. There is a lot of padding though. You'll find yourself fighting the same characters multiple times with the same characters. Only thing changing is if you get a sidekick or not. The fact that you have to constantly go back to the story screen, watch the cutscene, wait for the game to load just to fight the same dude over and over again can make the story mode feel a bit of a slug at times. And the final battle between All for One and One for All is nowhere near as climactic as it could have been thanks to the constant break and flow to have the game load. Story mode is fairly easy and you can probably clear it in a day if you're really determined. The main motivation is to get to the villain side of the story, which is more of a what-if style story. I haven't finished the villain side quite yet, so I'm not sure what the big payoff is. Mission mode is a bit more like a standard arcade mode. You pick 3 characters to take on various opponents in the Academia world. I found this mode to be a bit more engaging thanks to having multiple paths to take to the finish and having different battle conditions each round. However, the pacing is ruined whenever you fail a round. You have to wait for the game to load, go back to the mission select screen, change the order of your characters, then go back into the round. There's no restart or changing characters right away after losing. You just want to hop back in there and try again, but no, you have to wait for the game to load. A lot. That aside, I did enjoy mission mode for what it was worth. The main motivation for clearing either single player mode is for the cosmetic items. Yeah, that's right. You can play dress up with your favorite characters. It's not extensive like say Tekken or Virtua Fighter, but I'm glad customization is here. My Hero 1's Justice is a serviceable game at the end of the day. It lacks the polish and flash that Dragon Ball FighterZ got, but is far above and beyond the standard shovelware that licensed games tend to get. At its core, it's a solid game that fans of the series will love, and with a bit of effort into a sequel, it'll become a game that fans beyond anime will be able to jump into. When I first put My Hero Academia into my Nintendo Switch, I didn't really like it that much. But the more I played, the more I learned about subsystems, the more I actually learned about the characters and how they played. I had a pretty good time with the game, but after that there are some issues here that really need to be ironed out in future sequels. I'm going to give My Hero Academia for the Nintendo Switch a 7 out of 10. If you're a My Hero Academia fan, definitely put this on your want list. If you're not a My Hero Academia fan, maybe wait for it to go on sale. What this franchise really needs is something like a Knights of the Old Republic or a Mass Effect, something where you can make your own character and go out into the world, make your own decisions, choose if you want to be a hero or a villain. Something like that would be amazing, and I hope Namco does do that in the future. But for now, we're just going to have to play One's Justice for your platform of choice. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Hit that little bell next to the subscribe icon so you can know whenever I upload a new video, and yeah, that will be that. Anyway guys, yeah, whatever.